What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus. We have ourselves a victory show. Oh my God, is this one sweet, okay? 3-0, sending Napoli home packing with nothing. Conte, as you see here, Alex UVFC. Oh yeah, sending him in tears. The crowd even having a little fun with Antonio yesterday, and I appreciated the crowd, the energy, the team's performance. Spalletti denying Fabri a little handshake too, popping up the score for him. Guys, this had it all, and I enjoyed every damn second of it. It was so sweet. We got to recap it today and get into everything in the aftermath, and we're going to have all this fun together. I got Omer. I got Lou with me. Lou, how you doing, brother? It's been a while.
Good. Make my annual 3-month appearance here. That's what that is. Once every 3 months.
There you go. Hey, we'll take it. Love having you on. It's always great to see your insight and your thoughts on all things Juve. And oh yeah, the Napoli fans with the excuses. Oh yeah, you know what? It feels good. That's what we used to always do. Give the other teams excuses, and let's keep doing that. Let's keep moving that direction. Omer, how you doing, brother?
Couldn't be better.
Yeah.
Literally, couldn't be better. Just
Victory
awesome.
Monday, guys. There's nothing to complain about.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. It went way better than I believe anyone expected, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm fine. Hi, chat. Great to see you all.
Other than somebody who did actually think that was going to go down, and that was Wing of Winter, who hammered a prediction in there that nailed it, and I had a promise for him that I would give away a kit, not only to him, but to a lucky subscriber as well. So everybody that's tuning in on X or another platform, head over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and you're going to want to be in the YouTube live chat, because that's how you're going to win that kit, okay? But Wing of Winter, I got one for you, but of course, we're going to wait for that and do that a little bit later. We have headlines that we're going to tackle after we recap this match, okay? So without further ado, I'm going to rip through starting lineups, some highlights, some talking points from the game, and then we're going to get to everything in the aftermath, all right? What's up, everybody? Matt Benedetti in there, Jay Brute in here. I have a complaint. Lou, we expected this one from Justin.
Yeah.
All right.
Just remember something, Justin. I existed when the AJC team started. I will be here after you have been sacked.
Oh my God, Justin, taking shots already. Alex P, great to see you in here. All right, let's go. Adam Khan, Ibrahim in here as well. Great seeing you all. Let's have a lot of fun and drop those likes. Okay, now let's get to it. Okay, so starting 11 in this one, the only real change that we saw was Miretti going to the bench, Chico Conceição entering the pitch. And you saw it labeled as a 4-2-3-1 with McKennie essentially playing between Conceição and Yildiz. A little bit different to what we saw actually play out on the pitch. This one actually did end up being a little bit more true to a 3-4-2-1, at least a lot more coverage had to happen for McKennie to hit that advanced spot, which he still did throughout the game. So the kilometers tracked, always going to be huge for that guy. Nothing changed. I had no issues with the starting lineup, and I mean, we're pretty close there. Some people would have liked to see Miretti, but I didn't see really any issues with that starting 11. Chico Conceição, we know what Spalletti thinks of him and how important he sees him in the mix. Guys, that's your starting 11, probably the best one so far this season, I'd have to say. Guys agree?
Yep. Fully healthy, that's the best one.
Yeah. So with
I'd
that,
have to agree.
We move. Highlights, 12 minutes in, through ball from Thuram to Kambiaso, drops it off for Chico. This looked like a cross/shot. You can't really figure out what he's trying to do. Maybe like almost could have got it in there at the back post beyond Merit there, who was in goal for them. But 18th minute, Yildiz steals the ball from Gutierrez, feeds Thuram, and oh my God, almost a worldie here from Thuram, man. Upper 90, hitting the woodwork. Yeah, damn, and nobody could capitalize on the rebound for Juve, but that's a positive start, at least from Juve in terms of energy and approach, and looking like they were going to press the hell out of Napoli, and that's kind of what happened from the outset, which we like to see. 21st minute, dude, this guy just keeps on fighting, and that's Manuel Locatelli, all right? So he gets a questionable approach from the ball from Rasmus Højlund through the back of Locatelli. Goes down, he gets right back up, picks up the clearance attempt, chests it. I did not expect this. He's not even looking in the direction, jumps and back heel into the direction of Jonathan David, who shields off Spinazzola, settles it nicely before slotting home left-footed. What a goal to open this thing up, man. That was just beautiful. Boys, Locatelli leveling up, man.
How many times do you see like a random Locatelli back heel on the edge of the box, like go nowhere? That was perfect.
Oh my God, man. It was perfect, and David was on it, and he just, man, finally using his body, like shielding off. There was absolutely nothing close to offside on it too. Just everything looked good. But man, Loca not even looking that direction, popping it back, like that was just filthy. That was filthy.
Guys, maybe the chat too. Do you think Jonathan David turned in the little corner here? Performances are getting better. I mean, and I like this. He fought really hard during the game yesterday, but even for not doing much yesterday, like to get a goal, it's a couple games in a row here.
We got to talk about David. We will talk about David a little later because we talked about him pregame. He's saying the right things and he's accountable, saying, hey, look, I know I haven't met the expectations, but I'm doing everything I can to speed things up. And he talked about the difficulty in Italy versus France in leagues, respectively. And he says also just his teammates, them figuring out him, where he wants to see the ball, how he wants to play, and him figuring out them. A little bit of time, a little bit of patience. 5 goal contributions in the last 6 matches. So moving in the right direction. Beautiful goal. We have to talk about something else that happened on this goal, okay? We got another team celly, boys. Sipping tea here. All right, Dave pops them up. We kind of talked a little bit about it in the green room. Lewis, you like the team sellies or what?
They're a little cringe, but the players are playing well and they're expressing themselves. Continue on, boys.
Yeah. Omer, team sellies.
I love it. I love it. I think it's cool. I get that this is a group of young guys who are apparently very good friends. It did do the numbers, like even the Yildiz selly from, I don't know, 2 days ago. It was like all over the internet, every major page, 433, whoever posted it. I think it's cool. I think it's a testament to Spalletti being true to his words and making them have some fun, not be a staff sergeant, contest style. It's not funny. Don't enjoy it. Win it first. No, enjoy football. Spalletti said that that's one of his things, and he lets them do it. So I love it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's good. I want to see something a little bit cool. Actually, the first one they did, the last one before this one, was actually cool because they all just kind of had their pose for a photo. Like, I like that one better. The sip and tea thing, not really my thing. Also, Thuram might have missed the memo on what they were doing. I'm just saying. I don't think you're drinking tea, bud. Yeah, kind of looks like he's enjoying a little dance with Mary Jane there. Kev, take it easy, okay? That's not coffee break, buddy. Yeah.
Look at the dreadlocks. Come on.
And Papa Thuram was up in the stands, okay, next to that mistake, Marcus. So take it easy with the puff there. But, hey, if that's what he needs to have a first half like he did, then go on, Kev, because he was a beast in that first half. Absolutely insane. Still solid in the second half, but we'll get to it. Beautiful goal for 1-0. 24th minute, Juve strips the ball. Yildiz. We get the ball up to Yildiz. He's moving in, doing everything right, finds Chico all alone at the spot. This was insane from Buongiorno. I got to give him credit. Like, he's standing next to David in there, which is involved in the play, in the area. The second the ball hits Chico's feet, he abandons David, and he's able to make a goal line clearance. That was, that was huge from Buongiorno, because that keeps them in it and alive. Because, like, 2-0 at that point is disaster for Napoli, but big play by him.
Also, the dummy that Yildiz played, where he kept hesitating, looking like he's going to shoot, and then slips that pass to Chico. I think even the camera, like on the screen I was watching, like kind of was thinking like he was going to shoot. The whole stadium looked like he was going to shoot before he dummied it.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
And I want to credit Bremer. I mean, Bremer sort of created that. He bursted forward and ran all the way up after taking the ball from, I don't remember who, maybe possibly Højlund.
Yeah, the pressure that we had on them first half was just insane. Like, they just couldn't get it going. Couldn't get it going. And to be honest, it kind of changed to the second half, but they still couldn't really get it going. And we'll talk about it. We talked about this moment. There was a questionable moment. And if you're looking on socials, the Napoli fans will let you know what that questionable moment was. And this was the situation between Bremer and Højlund in our area in the first half, with the ball out wide and Bremer seemingly getting his arm up high. In a standard situation where guys will clench and grab, battling for position and whatnot, it looked a little rough because the ball's not even coming into play. And Bremer's already grabbing this guy, and he does get an arm a little bit high. I still felt it was a whole lot of nothing. Would have been harsh. We do have a write-up from L'Arbitro for the AJC. The Bremer-Højlund incident. On this play, you see two Napoli players going down. You had Vergata also going down as a cross was working up to getting its way into the penalty area. The one that seemed to raise the most flags was the Bremer contact on Højlund. On these plays, you see players battling for space all the time by grabbing, trying to box each other out. Therefore, referee must judge the impact the defender had on the overall play. 1, did he legally or illegally make contact with Højlund? 2, was the contact itself enough to bring the player down? Or in other words, did Højlund go down easy? Number 3, was the ball within playing distance? Bremer wrapping his arms around Højlund was a very risky move. What likely saves him here is that the ball was likely not within playing distance. Put 10 referees in a room, though, and the opinions on whether or not this should have been a foul is always going to be split. Juve were fortunate that Mariani didn't call this on the field. However, this is also not a clear and obvious error, meaning VAR did well to not get involved on something that is considered episodio do campo. Guys, nothing for you or a little risky?
Nothing, and I'll tell you why. First of all, you don't want to set that precedent because this shit happens a lot in corner kicks. So you can't start. I mean, if it's not, like you said, clear and obvious error, then don't call it. Second thing is Højlund stepped on Bremer's foot. That's a foul as well. And I don't see how this situation is different from what happened to Vlahovic a few months ago. I believe it was against Cagliari when he did a back heel inside the area and then the defender fouled him. I think it was Jeremina maybe. And then they called the foul. They called the penalty and then they called the foul on Vlahovic to reverse. And that was even more intense. So no, you don't give that foul unless the ball was already in Højlund's feet and he was about to shoot.
Yeah. And Lou, what do you think on that play? Anything?
Too much simulation from Højlund for me. Just like he goes down a little too easily. I mean, that's part of the game, but like with it being that obvious, like if you call that, you're starting a precedent, like Omar said, that's just not very good. So I think it was the right call.
Yeah, I think Højlund's a bitch, and so is Napoli. All right, now we keep it rolling. Halftime hits, 1-0 Juve. Again, you've got a worldie that just missed out from Thuram and Chico Conceição forcing a huge goal line clearance. Could be a couple up. Nonetheless, halftime hits. We go into the second half, and we kind of change the approach. The approach changes from this high pressure that we played in the first half to kind of sitting back and trying to hit them on counters. And the one thing that was frustrating, the only blip I had in the first half was we were pretty cheap on the ball, giving it back to them a little too quickly. Second half, we kind of did that a bit for the start, but you could see we wanted to play that counter game, utilizing the 1-goal lead. In the end, it worked. I think the best opportunity they had the entire game was a 54th minute Spinazzola shot that gets blocked, falls to Højlund, and puts him in a 1v1 scenario with Bremer. But Bremer does well, standing him up and never giving him an angle to goal. So it goes wide. 76th minute, though. Again, the pressure. We did have a substitute in at this point in time. Miretti was on the pitch, and it ends up at his feet with Yildiz. Free and clear. Miretti has an easy weighted pass to put ahead of him. He does. Yildiz, super composed here. Almost too composed, to the point where he ended up having to shoot this one through Juan Jesus's legs, but he puts it in, and oh man, 2-0. That's beautiful. And just for good measure, 85th minute, talk about substitutions. Kostic, Pipo Kostic comes in and makes it 3. There you go, baby. Easy business. Juve leave with the massive set of points. We're going to break all our thoughts down on this entire game right now. That was a lovely spanking, though. And when you talk about statistics, these guys literally have nothing to talk about, so keep crying. They generated not a single big chance in this game. Juve had 3. They finished with 9 attempts. We finished with 12. Okay, if you're looking at the ratings, I'll give you the ratings right now on the players before we get into the breakdown. So once again, Kev, enjoy that. Ratings. Di Gregorio 6.9, Kalulu 7.8, Bremer 6.6, Kelly 7.3, McKennie 6.6, Locatelli 8.1, Thuram 7.8, Kambiaso 6.9, Chico 6.5, Yildiz at 7.8, and David at 7.2. All right, so there's your ratings. Wow. Thuram ends up being man of the match officially. Fellas, time to break it down. Lou, your thoughts on this game. Was Thuram your man of the match? Did you have another player? What did you like about the game? Hit me.
Well, to start off on the overall performance, this was a statement win for Juventus. You know, we may not be in the title race. We're kind of on the outside. A lot would have to happen for us to be in the title race. But this is about rebuilding a project for the future, right? You bring Spalletti in, and now you're on this great run of form. The players are playing well. They're dominating. They beat Roma in a good game. They beat Benfica midweek in a good game. You know, but the last time we played Napoli, not very good. This time, we hammered them. And from start to finish, it was just a clinical, beautiful Juventus performance. It's an organized team. It's a confident team. It's a team that can play many ways. And they're getting things out of guys that we don't necessarily consider like top-class players. Like, for example, like Kostic, they played him at right wing yesterday. Comes on, scores a goal. Like, not what you typically would think. You know, there's Zagrova sitting on the bench. Don't really see him. You know, Moretti, kind of his resurgence, or Lloyd Kelly, how you mentioned, one of the highest rated players, slowly been very good. And I think that we're seeing Juventus rise from the ashes slowly but surely. We're seeing this Juventus of the future kind of arise and just keep the momentum going because it's brilliant right now. And as far as my man of the match, I agreed. I thought Thuram, at least for what he did in the first half, was he was just the best player on the pitch in the first half. He's just everywhere.
Yeah, massive first half from Thuram, and still solid in the second half, but the first half was just insanity from him, all over the place. Omer, who was your man of the match, and your quick thoughts in recap of this match?
Okay, so very enjoyable, very calculated. I mean, I want to say perfect game management from Spalletti. You can't press for 90 minutes. You just can't. And he knows that. He chose great times to kind of lay back and sustain pressure and when to press forward. And it paid dividends. So in my man of the match, I mean, there are a few that can, more than a few, that can get this honor. So Thuram, I know who you're going to pick, Berto, because I've watched the live yesterday. So I want to give it to Kelly. It's been I don't know, 5, 6, 7 matches that he hasn't put a single foot wrong all match, always in position, good on the ball, good bursting forward, good partnership with Bremer, and that's what I was expecting to see. The guy is just, it's so nice to actually have a surprise good player that you never expected, and what he's been through, he deserves it, man. He's up there in with our top performers. I believe him, McKennie, and Yildiz are currently our best players that have been consistent throughout the season. So that's where my man of the match go. And one more thing, it sucks and I hate that I have to single out Kambiaso every good performance. We've been playing great for the past 10, 12 matches, and Kambiaso didn't have a single good performance in any of those. I can say that even Coop Miners had a good match or two. Kambiaso is not up to par with the team. He seems to be the only one that is still stuck in the Juve of Tudor and hasn't progressed with the rest of the guys. So too bad. I really hope he can turn it around, but man, that's disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, and we'll get to it. Like, this game for me is just, that was all business. That felt like a Juve that we have been dying to see for a long time. That one that's just no nonsense and full go, locked in, zoned in. I kind of alluded to it when people were getting sketched out about the turn-in schedule from favorable matches to these difficult ones, and saying that maybe it's those lesser teams that are the bigger problem for Juve, and that this team under Spalletti, excuse me, can show up a little bit better, more focused, and maybe there's less worries here, especially playing opponents that won't clamp down and put 10 men in the box defending, etc. So it's one of these things that we have to watch through this period. But I gotta say, I'm more confident playing the more difficult matches, like watching this team play the more difficult matches, than I am in those closed off, clamped down, ugly, disjointed matches against 65 to 70% of the opposition in Serie A that are playing 3-5-2, that all sit back in a low block. So again, this was just fantastic to see what can happen when you want to play Juve kind of straight up. They can create problems for you, and we could probably go with anybody. As far as man of the match goes, for me, it goes again, twice on the run, to Locatelli. Locatelli was insane. He was insane again, start to finish. Like, this guy, 93% pass accuracy, 83 touches, 11 passes into the final third, 6 accurate long balls. So he's spraying it out as well. Won almost all his ground duels. 4 ball recoveries, 3 tackles, 2 blocks, and finishes up with an assist on the game-winning goal. Yeah, I need to give it to Locatelli. Thuram, immense in that first half. I think when you watch Thuram, he's got to learn. We saw this with Yildiz earlier on at a point with him as well, where they got to manage the endurance and stamina. Like, and if he can kind of do the best he can with that, but there was a noticeable drop off in the second half, and plus our game style changed because we went into the counter thing, and that didn't play as well into Thuram's hand as the press did in the first half. So there's that too. Fantastic stuff from both of them. Lloyd Kelly, I think, deserves a shout as well for his performance, but you're absolutely right. As pleasing as this win was, Kambiaso sadly sticks out as a bit of a sore spot, because it'd be nice to see him getting something out of these performances where key guys are starting to peak for Juve. And sadly, it's not happening, right? And now fans are making calls, and when you get some subs that come in, that we said yesterday on the pregame live, in a game like that against Napoli, subs are going to have an impact. That's just going to have to be a must. And it's interesting with a substitution. We'll look at it. But Kambiaso, I mean, yeah, we need a little bit more there. He's not necessarily a problem, but he's also not improving. Like, I feel funny about Kambiaso.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Lou.
He he's just stagnant. He's been the same like level
Yeah.
since the end of since the transfer of the Manchester City came up almost a year ago. He's been at the same middle level where he's like really sloppy with the ball, makes defensive errors. He just mentally looks checked out. And then
Yeah.
you get like every once in a while you get a game where he like plays really well and you're like, oh, he's back. And then it's like 4 or 5 performances like we saw yesterday. I did want to highlight too some of these guys, Lloyd Kelly, Weston McKennie, Kostic's playing well. Juve fans, we often, because of the pressure of the club and the expectations and the standards, we write players off before they sign, when they're here for 6 months. We're seeing it a little bit with Jonathan David. I think that we don't understand as fans sometimes how hard Serie A is, how difficult it is playing at Juventus. You see someone like Lloyd Kelly, who all it took was Spalletti to put him in the back three for a little bit and, like give him a more defined role and, put Bremer next to him, some experience. He's finally like grown into his own. And I think as fans, sometimes we need to remember to give these guys like, more than 3 months to really adapt to a new league and figure themselves out. Like it doesn't happen overnight for a lot of guys. There's some guys it does, but not everyone is like that.
Yeah. I think a big thing you got to look at this game yesterday too, because Jonathan David had a solid performance too. I gotta highlight his performance. I thought it was probably the best since he's been at Juve. Positionally, how he linked everything up, his touch was on from the get-go. So he looked very good and scored a very nice goal, a striker's type goal. Speaking to that whole adapting and everything like that, David, I said so many times too, like the way we play has to match the personnel. Yesterday, you couldn't have matched it better. I thought we might be in a situation where we're going to settle for crossing and maybe spam too many crosses in there. We didn't. We were looking to shoot in and around the area. We were looking for each other, making passes like to feet and playing with each other very well. And of course, the transition game helps that aspect, but that's a kind of game that suits your personnel. When you're going to look at crossing in, you've really only got McKennie as that serious aerial threat that gets into those advanced position. David doesn't have the height, not really an aerial prowess guy, scores very few headers overall. It's got to make sense. Yesterday, game plan made perfect sense, and that's what you get, right? It all has to come together, and this is part of Spalletti growing with these players as well, right? And the players growing amongst each other. So there's a lot that has to come together. But Jonathan David now, 5 goal contributions in the past 6 matches. The guys are peaking at the right time. Thuram now knows what he needs to do and what he needs to bring. Scored a huge goal against Benfica. Had a hell of a first half yesterday. It's moving in the right direction. They all say the same thing. Whether you get to Thuram, whether you get to David, whether you get to any of these guys, McKennie, the coach, they are ready to run through a wall for Spalletti. And it's refreshing to hear that straight across the board from every player. He trusts us, and David said it as simple as possible. I want to reward him for protecting me after an awful miss on the PK. He stood by me. He backed me. He started me immediately the next game. And that's kind of when the corner started to turn. It's funny, if you go back to that moment, I said this could only go 2 ways for David. It either gets worse or it finally lights a fire under his ass like, okay, I need to wake up. Spalletti probably played it to a T, and now he's getting rewarded. David's got to keep it going. He's saying the right things, but talk is talk. On the pitch, you got to get it done. But so far, it's moving in the right direction. But I love it. Spalletti is the common thing here. He's challenged all of them.
Yeah. Look, we've talked about it in the green room recently. That's what you get with an experienced coach. I mean, look how fast you've obtained identity. he came in, he saw the situation, and he coached some teams who had problems and problematic players. Saw the situation, said, "Okay, then that's what I have to deal with. It's nothing new," and he knew exactly how to fix it. He built a good team around him, also the team of coaches. It looks like everyone is locked in. He's managing this team. He's acting not like a friend, which was probably Tudor, or like a staff sergeant, like Allegri was. And he's kind of in the middle, and they respect it because he's talking to them all the time. He actually makes them better. They all improved. And so huge credit to him. And okay, I got a bold statement later on him, so I won't get into it. But it's a joy to watch what a coach, how a coach can transform a team in the span of 2 months. And credit to David, he's really picking it up.
He is the perfect like kind of match for this Juventus team. Spalletti had such a horrible stint with the national team. His reputation got soured. A lot of fans in Serie A, even people that liked him, were kind of down on him. And he wants to prove himself, right? Even at his age, what is he like 63, 66, something crazy like that? Even at his age, he wants to prove himself. And he came in. Last time I did a show was right after he got hired. The most impressive thing about him when he came in was he said, "I think I have good players who need to prove themselves," kind of like Spalletti. And, he said Juventus has to be about winning. From day one, that's it, right? He set a standard. And sometimes when you have experienced coaches, they can come in and set a standard or work on a culture or simplify things. Like you mentioned Berto earlier, like Thuram kind of knows what he's doing now on the pitch, right? Jonathan David misses a penalty, but the way that they play sometimes with the press and stuff probably suits him a little bit more because they get a little bit more freedom in transition. Spalletti can do these things. He can simplify things. The first couple of games, he played the 3-4-2-1 that Tudor played, and then he started to shift and tinker a little bit. That's what an experienced coach can do, and I think adding that to a young team has kind of just stabilized them, built their confidence because they understand their day-to-day job, and now you're seeing a collective that's a confident, fearless team really go after opponents.
Yeah. And now, while we talk about the proper handlings of Spalletti and these guys ready to run through a wall for him and getting all this backing, we still talked about the one thing, which is Kambiaso not necessarily peaking, not necessarily growing with the key guys that are. When you're looking at Thuram starting to turn it now, Locatelli leveling up, David starting to find his rhythm, his form. What do you do with Kambiaso? Because Filip Kostic steps in and gets a contribution in there. Looked lively from the right side as opposed to the left. And, first off, when you talk about the subs, I think the subs are very telling from Spalletti in yesterday's game. That's a big game. And we said subs are going to be critical. So he subs in at the 60th minute, takes Kambiaso off, puts Kostic in, moves Kostic over to the right side. He brings Cabal in for Chico Conceição. So obviously this naturally changes things up a little bit. It's still playing into your counterattack methods for the second half. But that's very telling to me in terms of who he calls upon. Miretti ends up coming in for David. Co-Miners gives Locatelli a rest with 3 minutes left, and then Gatti gives Yildiz a rest with 3 minutes left. But the fact that you don't see a guy like Zhigrova get out there, you don't see Openda go out there, for me, that tells me Spalletti doesn't trust these players. He doesn't trust those particular guys.
There's a report in the news this morning, I think it was Tuttosport, where they asked Spalletti, or they were talking about Spalletti and asking for a striker, and he wanted someone with experience, right? He doesn't have time to teach someone how to be at Juventus. It has to be someone that understands playing for a big club or understands, expectations and demands. And I think right now this kind of highlights it, right? Zhigrova isn't 100% fit. We don't have time to kind of, wait on him a little bit. We don't really have time for Openda to figure his shit out. We just don't. We're a point off the top four. We're moving in the right direction. We'll see what happens with Europe. You just don't have time to do that right now. So I think that's kind of what the indication is. And Coop Miners is someone we've discussed on the show, outside the show. Like, you know, when Thuram was out for a little bit and he was playing at left center back, we didn't think he'd get into this midfield. And I think we're looking at the end of Coop Miners' tenure here. It's just he's not going to get into the team. He's not good enough to get into the team.
He's not adding anything. You can't play next to Locatelli and try to do his role, which you're not better than him at. He needed to try and advance and like add something to the attack, to the final third, but he doesn't. He never has since he got here. And I feel like I could say he never will. I hate giving up on guys. I really do. It's January 26th, but my mind is already set that even if you have to take a hit, you count your losses and move on there because it just ain't happening. In terms of this whole thing now, we talk about the trust with these players. I just think there's a definite drop-off. You're 1-0 at this point when you're starting to make these subs. There's a drop-off in intensity when Jagrova hits the pitch. And it's undeniable because of his style of play. He's almost like a fucking futsal player, for Christ's sake, because the ball just got to go to him and he's got to dribble and do all this quick feet shit. But there's a drop-off there. And I don't think Spalletti wanted to risk that. Openda, I don't know. That's pretty telling to me too. If you're going to play a counterattack game for the second half, which we did, switching off from the high press, it's weird to me that you still didn't see Openda as working in a counter-attacking setup and approach. So it might be a little telling as to where these guys kind of stand and who Spalletti is willing to bank on and lean on. That said, Kambiaso, going back to him, Kostic scores a goal, looks pretty positive yesterday, and now everybody's going back to it. Use him to sit Kambiaso. Kambiaso has to sit, and we have to find a way to challenge him to get him going while all these other guys are picking their game up and peaking. He's kind of just flatlined. Do you think that's the move?
I think I'd keep Kostic further up the pitch. I kind of like him being a vice to Conceição or Yildiz more than I prefer him as a left back.
I actually don't think he meant, for Kostic to score. I think he brought him in to chase down Spinazzola because McKennie was running his ass off all over the pitch and maybe he felt he's a bit tired. But I don't think going with Kostic as left back is the right move. I actually believe that Spalletti really likes Cabal.
So do I.
I think he manages his minutes to avoid more injury and kind of eases them in. But I think we're going to start see Cabal play more and more. And once he's fit for 70 minutes, he'll start over Kambiaso. I think that's the direction it goes. And I think it will do great to Kambiaso. Look what happened to Thuram after he was benched for 2 matches. So that's the direction I think it's going.
Cabal is a bit sketchy for me. He's a bit sketchy. He's a bit sketchy for me.
I don't even mind seeing Coop Miners there once in a while.
I don't like any of these moves. And this is why I've said, I feel like Spalletti's a little handcuffed because Kambiaso, he's not leveling up like these others might be, but he's not dropping down to the depths of he's got no business out there. The thing is he's got a sketchy pass back every game. I'll give him that. But he's not at the point where it's just completely unusable. It's kind of tough spot right now. Every time I'm coming up with a starting 11, I still have him in there because I don't trust Kostic. Okay? I don't trust him. I think he's too slow, and there was times there where he's brought in to mark up Spinazzola, and I'm like, Spinazzola could beat him at will, leave him flat-footed and standing there in his dust, and he did a couple times. But if you're talking about Cabal as well, I don't think we've seen enough from Cabal to really hold things down and maintain some balance. So Kambiaso, he's got issues and he's not leveling up, but he's also not like to the point where he's a total detriment. It's very difficult for me when I'm talking about Kambiaso and trying to take him out or anything. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. And I think Spalletti, I kind of think you guys are onto something. I think you're right. You might end up seeing Cabal come in there. But I don't know. Like, if you got a big game right now, I'm still not at the point where I'm throwing Cabal over him, because the crazy thing is that Kambiaso is essentially an on-his-day player, basically. That's what he's kind of become. On his day, it's phenomenal. But on his day has started to become much fewer and farther between. But the thing is, he still has the capability to break a game open for you more so than a Cabal or a Kostic. And they're not more reassuring or reliable defensively than he is.
Yeah, well, Kostic to me, like, he's not a left back, right? Like, you could use him as a vice to one of the wingers, but he's just not a left back. It's a makeshift thing that, happened when we played a 3-5-2. You kind of just needed someone to fill that role for a little bit. The other hard thing with Kambiaso is that he does join the midfield. He does join the attack. He adds numbers to a lot of areas where a Cabal probably can't do that. So it becomes very hard to drop him, because if you wanted to line him up with the midfielders, you can do that. Cook Miners in theory can do that, but in terms of execution, doesn't really do that unless he's playing, in the back three, right? Kambiaso can kind of fluidly move between the three phases, even at his worst. So I think, you're right. Spalletti this team has limitations. It holds, I think, Spalletti back a little bit, because when we see it like yesterday, it's like, that's great. But then when we saw at Cagliari, there's limitations in games like those, right? There's limitations, on this team. So I think we're handcuffed a little bit. I don't think this is a problem that can be resolved until we're able to get to the summer market and maybe add a couple players. We're just kind of looking at Band-Aids right now.
Yeah. It's I think Tuna might hit it right on the head here, saying essentially Kambiaso is the best weakest link Juve have. That might sum it up as best as possible, to be honest.
Look, in terms of production, him and Kostic have the same production. Maybe Kostic has one more assist in less than third of the minutes of Kambiaso. Cabal also has 2 goals out of the minutes he played. And now that McKennie is playing the same sort of type of role that we were used to see Kambiaso play, where it drifts all over, get into the midfield, back on the flank. I don't really need Kambiaso to do the same. Yes, he can do it, and yes, he's a good dribbler, and he has some good agility, and he can create. That's what's frustrating. He is a good player. Like, he has some great characteristics that just doesn't... I don't know what happened to him, why it's suddenly disappeared.
And you got Cugino Vinny here saying, I'm always afraid when Cabal comes on that he will do some brain-dead foul or mistake. This is how I feel. Kostic doesn't have the pace to play serious minutes, like against serious challenges. Cabal, I don't think, has the brains. Not at least developed yet, because even if you want to say lack of minutes, etc. So Kambiaso, for me, I'm at a point where it's okay if he's not leveling up, because I don't know what he's doing isn't essentially the end of the world. The biggest thing I might need him to do in a game or two is push Yildiz central so that Yildiz can cook. Like, I don't need Kambiaso running rogue and heading into the midfield and heading up level with the attackers and the strikers up there. I don't need that from him. We don't need it. If we can find a better way to get the guys who are peaking, who are rolling in the right positions to do so, then I'm cool with that. And if you're not creating issues at the back and you're holding it down good enough defensively, that's good enough for me, man. That's good enough for me.
And credit to Spalletti. He plays the guys who deserve to play and who has been performing. He doesn't push guys in just to, give Zagrova some minutes so he wouldn't be sulky on the bench or whatever. All the subs yesterday were guys who I think deserve it.
Well,
And not Openda and not Jagrova.
was gonna say that too, Omar. He has that experience kind of to just be like, you're not playing well, like you're coming off, right? Remember what was the game at the start of the like the lower level tier games we were playing where he subbed Locatelli off and he gave him a look and he kind of sent him to the bench, right? Loca has been playing objectively pretty well, but it's like you're not playing very well today. You're coming off of the hour mark, like it's time, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does really good. It's about keeping standards and setting standards because the rules apply to everyone now. Whereas before,
He did it with Miretti just against Benfica. Had a terrible first half, subbed off at halftime. And it's not the first time he's done it. And so he reacts to what happens on the pitch. It's pretty impossible to predict his subs. I have no idea who he's going to put in and when. And yeah, he's a step ahead of us because he actually knows the team and he sees them in training. And I think Kostic earned his spot and his sub through training, not through performances on the pitch.
You talk about too, like attacking like threats that we have on the bench. I mean, Openda doesn't really play well. Zagrova has I don't know how many, like very few minutes in his legs. You know, you could argue that maybe his style of play doesn't fit the way Juventus is playing right now. I mean, yeah, he's earned it. Like the rest of those guys are not giving us the output that we get from Kostic, and I don't even like Kostic, but the output that we get from him, at least the ability to have a rocket left foot from outside the box, and none of those guys are bringing that here. So,
yeah, I'm probably still good just dealing with Kambiaso than going to that route because I could just see it. If start Kostic in a big game, I think we're talking about a different story. That's just me. I feel like that length, that degree might be a little bit of a thing. Off the bench though, great. And I'm happy for it. And I will give him credit. He's never afraid to shoot the fucking ball, which more of our guys need to be willing to do. So I'll give him that. Now, speaking of players, peaking, hitting stride at the right time. We talked about Thuram, talked about Locatelli. Yildiz is just he's on one, You're talking about the numbers. We went over numbers of shots created that he's played a part in, even the ones he's taken, and he's second, I think, only to Nico Paz in the entire league. As far as Serie A wingers go, first in goals and assists, first in assists, first in shot assists, first in expected goals, first in successful dribbles, first in offensive duels won, first in progressive carries, first in successful attacking actions, and first in touches in the box. He's also one of the most fouled players, if not the most fouled player in the league. He's absolutely cooking. And we got to ask, now with Juve doing this is like a performance. And it's not just this performance, because there's a lot of fans throwing it around, and not Juve fans, but the Chihuahuas out there. They want to talk about, oh, you guys are hyping up a win against us when you've been poor for us again in so many encounters lately. And you want to hype this one up when we're bruised and battered coming into this game, etc. No, what we're hyping up is that fans actually feel you can finally trust the process at Juve. It isn't one game. It's the fact that since Spalletti has come in, you are right there in terms of the matches played and the points, right up there with your league leaders. And it's the one thing that's kind of eating Juventini up. What if Spalletti had the preseason? What if he was in here from the beginning? I'd fail to believe that we wouldn't be right there at the very top. We are, of course, now 10 points out from the top. Okay? So it's not just a one win. And I've said this entire period of time. You're not hyping up a win against these lower sides. You're hyping up this period that Spalletti's come in. And it's been a huge, drastic turnaround. If you play any game from last season, any fucking game, you could even pick the best one. If you put that game up, to one of these later ones, now that Spalletti's been here a couple months, it's miles, worlds apart on the pitch what you're seeing. You wouldn't even believe that it's practically all the same players.
I want to rant. Can I have a rant? It fucking annoys me. Every time Juve wins, someone has to downplay it. Even Juve fans. Oh, it was only Cremonese. Oh, Napoli were bad. I don't care. A win is a win, and we should hype it up. 5-0 against Cremonese. Is it that easy? Has everyone done it? All those great teams that keeps being hyped up? And if they do have a good game and we barely win, they'll be hyped up as well. Oh, what a great team. What a compact unit. But when Juve wins, oh, it's only Cremonese. Oh, Napoli were severely injured. We were severely injured for 4 years. No one gave a fuck. No one cared. No one gave us any discounts in analyzing Juve. I didn't hear a single one say, well, Juve are injured, so that's what we would expect. This Juve, the 3-0 win is how much better Juve are than Napoli's reserves, and that's a great win. I don't care who was on the pitch. When Juve wins, hype him up. Stop downplaying Juve wins. I'm so sick and tired of hearing our own fans downplaying Juve wins. So just enjoy it, man. Just enjoy it. It's not that easy. Those are teams that we used to lose and draw to in the past 4 years. All the time. I never felt confident going into those matches. And still,
I agree 100% with Omar. I also think, too, like, if you're a Juventus fan, the thing is not necessarily that we beat Napoli 3-0. It's look at the pattern of this week. Because we've seen this movie before in recent years. You have a terrible loss to Cagliari. You play poorly. You lose 1-0. That usually, when Juventus is in a good moment, shocks the system. And we have a bunch of mid-performances for about 3 or 4 weeks where we like completely fall apart. What happened was you have a bad performance against Cagliari. You come to Benfica, a team that isn't very good at the moment, but someone we hadn't scored against in Europe in 2-3 games, had lost 12 of the last 13 matches to. You play mid against them in the first half. You do some adjustments. You pull off a solid 2-0 win against them, and then you turn that into a big, dominant 3-0 win at home against Napoli. This is not Juventus kind of mentality. And I'd also like to point out, and we talked about this in our private chat during the game, the fans in the stadium, too, the atmosphere felt like it did maybe like 7 years ago. Like
I felt like I was at the stadium.
Felt like it did with the team that we knew beforehand. We haven't felt that in 4 or 5 years. So it doesn't matter who the opponent is, who they had. It's the energy. If we were playing Verona and the fans were jumping up and down, like I'd still feel the same way. You know, these are good moments. It's a great moment for the team. I think Spalletti's won 15 games, 4 draws and like 2 losses. Like, why can't you be happy about that? You should be happy about that.
Yeah, no, they're breaking trends that we've seen for years, and I'm gonna just say it. This is a moment where you could trust the process. Okay, this is not a big game here, a big win here. It's not picking up on a favorable schedule, etc. No, this is the team sorting shit out since Spalletti has come in and gradually getting better. And now it's at the point where, again, your key guys that you've been looking to, even while you've been getting these results, we've been asking for more from guys. And now those guys are starting to do that. They're all starting to add more. McKennie, his influence has grown tremendously. Thuram is now looking like he's ready to turn a corner. Locatelli keeps leveling up. David finding rhythm, finding form. Guys, Yildiz is just Yildiz. He's an alien according to Spalletti, okay? So he's going to put him in his little basket on his bike and maybe reel him in through the top of Allianz Stadium next time, okay? Ride his bike like ET here. Look, the team's rolling, and they're peaking at the right time. Could we make something more out of this season that maybe wasn't expected? Look, the title race is 10 points. I understand that. You need help. But you can't tell me this run of form, the way these guys are starting to play, the way these guys are starting to believe, can't lead to, you know, a rather wild off the cliff question yesterday where he brings it up and saying, this is going to be the first time in a while Juve get the farthest they have in Champions League.
You never know.
You never know. Are you more confident now than you were at the start of the season? Yeah.
Oh,
The Inter team that
100%.
lost to City, I mean, they got a favorable draw, in terms of the teams that they played, but they were awful. If you look at that team on paper, they were not good at all. And they went or I'm not saying we'll go all the way to like a final, but you never know. Like, you could upset a team in the quarterfinals, right? If you're in form like that, that goes a long way in a
Form is everything. Belief, confidence, like all of this is everything. Coppa Italia, you could run out, maybe get that trophy too. And at the league, at the end of the day, you might sit in a place where, again, you start to say you're trusting the process. And right now, I'm still at the same place I have been. Spalletti deserves a little bit of help here in January, and I hope the team can bring it for him. But I have a question for you guys. All this time that we wanted to get to this moment of trusting the process, was it actually mentality all this time? Or was it just coaching and confidence?
Oh, I think it's a combination of both. I mean, they do affect each other. Like bad performances, lack of confidence, they're all, tangled. When things are going well, you feel it. You feel it in the zone, you feel the momentum for the rest of the team. So they kind of go hand in hand for me. But the bigger issue out of the two, I think, was probably mental. The mental aspect was, it's even hard to say what was so wrong. The difference in salaries in the first team, the attitude towards the players, the big money signings who just couldn't live up to the price. I mean, tons of things. That's not even go as far as point deduction and management resigning and stuff. I would put in more on mentality, but I think they both affect each other.
Yeah, you see Gio and Moran saying coaching. Aaron Levy saying it's all the above. The coach is responsible for all of that. It's funny how that works because mentality. If you want to talk about the players that have that mentality that you want to talk to and you want to bring up from the past, you can't have that mentality without confidence. And then you get to your coaching. Your coaching has a massive part in instilling confidence in the players. Because, again, we talk about what certain guys did. And when you're playing players out of position and you're asking them to do something they just can't, you're not helping that player's confidence. Remember me shitting on Thiago Motta forever with what he was doing with Cope Miners? Because I'm like, you're not helping him. Force feeding him in a spot, asking him to do something when it's not working isn't going to just all of a sudden fix itself like that. So you can't have mentality without confidence, and you can't have confidence without the coach pulling the right strings.
I think it starts at the helm with the coaching. And I think that, sometimes it takes just having a manager, like I said before, that has the same kind of mindset as the rest of the team. Like we saw, I think Bonucci, he had that long interview on Danzin this week, and we posted some quotes from there, and he was asked about like why Conte was so perfect for him. And he was like the right guy at the right moment, just understood where we were as players, understood how, like, what kind of mental wave we're in. I think Spalletti, above all, looked at a young team that is hungry. There's some players who have been here 3-4 years, haven't left their mark. They're hungry. They're frustrated. You could see it towards the end there that they seemed a little annoyed by what keeps happening to this club year after year. And you have a coach who's kind of feeling the same way, who feels hungry, who feels unjust for what happened to the Azzurri, and you blend it together, you have a good mix. I also think, unlike the last two managers we had, because I think with Allegri, the disconnect is beyond just coach the players, right? There's a mess at the top that kind of undid that halfway through beyond just the coaching issues. But these next two hires, Motta and Tudor, disasters in terms of their man management and their tactics and their setups. You get a coach like Spalletti who comes in and goes, hey, I have the experience to be like, I'm going to simplify things for 5, 7, 10 games until we get our footing. And then I'm going to slowly tinker with it. Or I'm going to take Moretti and be like, hey, I really believe in your talent. I just don't know where to put you yet. Like, give me a couple training sessions. Give me months. Same with Jonathan David or We could say the same about Lloyd Kelly. It's like, hey, like you just need time, and experienced managers can do that. They don't work based on one or two games. They understand longevity and, building a team up over time. I think that's a huge part of it too. That Spalletti kind of uses his experience and kind of his nature to get under these teams. It's just a perfect mix between the coach and the player. So I believe it fully starts with the coach. He sets the tone, especially with our management being a little bit more absent than recent ones. It's all down to him.
And it goes to show, like, all this time where we were like, all these people that are shitting on the players, and I still see fans out there shitting on the players, just being like, these guys are losers. You're still glazing guys that haven't won anything, etc. And I'm like, guys, you don't just pick up players and they just have the mentality. It doesn't always work like that. With some, it does. But with others, you also have to mold that. And if you are looking back at Juve through a long period of time, I've been a fan over 30 years. I'll tell you, there's guys that came in that changed because of the club. Like, what you do matters in that too. You can create monsters. You can create mental warriors as well. To try and search for them all ain't going to happen. That's why we say culture is massive. Spalletti's doing his part. Now it's up to the other guys up top that we've had question marks for years to kind of figure it out. Now you got a new group. They need to back it, but he's doing his part. Now, I want to get to something too. Talking about this team. Talking about the difference. Another big difference. This stat blew me away when I heard it yesterday. First, I want to bring up Dell's thing here. Is anyone implying we're in the Scudetto race? There are still how many? 48 points, I believe, to go out. At 10 points, I will say probably not. But if this thing hits 7 in the next couple of few weeks, 7 points out is in the race.
Yeah. I would say we're still in the race. I mean,
even at 10.
Not like mathematically, it doesn't seem like it, but haven't teams crumbled down before towards the end of the season?
I saw 16-point gap shredded to nothing just last season.
I mean, why not believe it can happen? So what if it won't happen? I mean, what's the point of watching? Yeah, Juve can win it.
Yeah.
Why not?
10
Inter can
if
drop
this
off?
thing hits 7 in the next few weeks, which I actually think it will, game on. Game on, baby. Game on. Now,
and we still have to play Inter once.
The stat that I was alluding to, this season, from an advantageous position, Juve, 11 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses.
Say it again, sorry.
From an advantageous position, from a winning position, 11 wins, 2 draws. The numbers last season, 20 plus points surrendered from a winning position.
Yeah, I saw that in the match. It kind of blew my mind too.
It blew me away because these are all the same guys.
But it goes back to coaching. It goes back to having a healthy Bremer, leaders on the pitch, right? I think the Spalletti, like we talked about, earlier, Juventus played 45 minutes with a really high press. They were menaces in Napoli's own final third. And then they're up a goal and they kind of sit back a little bit and they play on the counter a little. They take the break off just a little bit and then hammer them again. We're talking about a coach that, understands the game and can read the game and put players in. Thiago Motta and Igor Tudor couldn't adjust anything. They couldn't transmit that to anyone, especially Motta. Motta was terrible in that regard. I think that's down to good coaching and having your best player, maybe your real leader in terms of his presence, Bremer being back there.
I think it has to do with a lot of things, but the fact remains that while everybody wanted to believe that it's just all down to the roster, you got to blow this thing up. It's the same team doing it. Like, Bremer is a big part of it, a huge part of it. But we did that while Bremer was also out this season. Bremer missed a good section of this season too before coming back.
And I think, part of it is down to like, you have, again, like experienced coach. He's teaching them fundamentals. He's building foundations. He's saying like, hey, like the way we want to play, we can't high press for 90 minutes. There are games we have to park it and seal off 3 points, right?
Yeah.
It's someone who can do that, right?
That's just that alone. And I said it before. That's how you piss away title contention or even being in the mix is when you're in winning position and you're dropping that many points. That's how you get yourself in a top 4 fight. This season, that stat just kind of reassured me as to I'm not worried about not making top 4. I'm not worried about not making top 4 with this Juve side. There are fans that are still concerned about it. I'm not. My confidence is growing. And I think this tough stretch, we said, we'll find out what Spalletti's Juve is all about. We might be starting to see it. So it's good shit. Yesterday was great shit. Guys, we have some headlines. Let's get into it. Juve's back in the mix for Mateta. Okay? So we're going back to Mateta. We still need this thing to not be an obligation. However, the same guys that are saying this now were the ones reporting to you that Juve did offer obligation to the tune of 33 million all in. Palace wants 40. Anyways, we sent in a loan move approach for Beto. Rejected. Xerxes apparently can't be ruled out. But he's not available for loan right now, but they're saying that could change. Juve continues to work on McKennie's renewal. They want 3 year. He wants 4 at 4.5. Juve's going to be somewhere between 3.5 and 4, and they want 3 year. We'll see there. Just wrap it up, for God's sakes. And Juve does beat teams to the punch on the young Dutch defensive midfielder, labeled one of the best from Feyenoord's academy. Fortunato Credit signed official today. There you go. That's your headlines today. Is there any one of those ones you kind of want to touch on before we get to Storm the Barn, boys?
For me, I think pay Weston McKennie. I mean, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Like, in terms of performance, if we're being objective, because Juventus fans, they talk about standards and players not being good enough. In terms of performance, maybe only Yildiz and Bremer have been better than him. It'd be a toss-up between him and Locatelli for who's that third best consistent performer. But I saw a stat this week that was kind of jarring that Weston McKennie has now scored in 3 consecutive Champions League matches. I can't remember the last time we had a player that did that. Like that alone is worth the price of admission.
He really shines. He really shines in the Champions League, isn't he?
But in general, he plays every position. He works his ass off. He doesn't complain. He's kicked out of the team every year and still becomes a starter. That is Juventus DNA and mentality that we can just not afford to lose. The numbers are starting to back it. The performances are getting better. Pay the man.
Yeah.
I'm 100% agree. Pay the man. I've said it a few times. That's the form of his life. He's at his peak, and that's when you keep him. That's not when you let him leave. Renew him 100%. He's a starter at Juve.
This Mateta thing, going back. So obviously they're playing up the Champions League, whether we make it. This part makes me laugh because it's like, you've already put funds in. Okay? You've already put funds into this team for not reaching, or what you thought was going to happen this particular season. There was a chance of not making Champions League. You did. You still put a bond in, etc. I mean, you're stopping entities from coming in that want to help capitalize and help with situations like this so that you can better the side and not be afraid about whether you make Champions League or not. It's a strange one to me. To me, it's like either this is your guy or he isn't. Like, these are the terms to get him. Do you want him? Because the qualification process, that affects you financially, but I mean, it's not the be-all, end-all when you look at who's ready to say goodbye at season's end. So you're not handcuffed. And Spalletti again yesterday reiterated, we still need a big strike. He goes, David is doing great. David is a good professional. And he's starting to find his rhythm. But we still lack a big striker. He's clear as to what he wants. He's made it clear to them. Whether or not they go and get this guy, we'll see. I think it's hilarious because I just feel like this entire window has been time wasted, and you really just need some rentals, get some support, and move on and say in the summer we attack with who we actually want. And again, it's obviously too tight for comfort for Juve to make a decision that could be different if we don't qualify for Champions League. And I don't know, maybe, just maybe, guys are thinking, wow, you don't have confidence in me to reach this in this league, etc. It's tight now. Things could change, but what a shame if these guys get rolling, they're peaking, they all of a sudden do create a little bit of separation, get a healthy feeling that top four isn't a threat, and you didn't bring in some help. It's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see.
I just want to piggyback off you before Storm the Barn. I agree with everything you said, but also too, like in terms of what we were looking for in January, right? Kept changing. It was a striker, it was a midfielder, then it was a vice to Yildiz in the midfielder, then it was a fullback. Now it's back to being a striker, right? Like this to me is kind of one of the issues with this newer management. What are our primary objectives? What are we trying to do? What holes do we need, and how are we filling them? It seems like there's a lot of just we're casting a wide net. We're not honing in on anything. It's a little desperation in many different areas. And you are right. Like Mateta, you said earlier, like we struggle against smaller teams that do a low block. Mateta is kind of profile that helps you through games like that. It's two reasons. So we don't have a hulking number 9, and we don't have creativity. One creative midfielder that can unlock a game. Right. Those are kind of the two things. You could get that with Mateta, and you're only off a couple million, and that's the issue, right? Just
Spalletti, he's made it clear for management.
Well,
he made it clear. He made it clear a while ago, and we found out a while ago that Vlahovic is probably going to be April by the time he's actually back. I mean, I don't think it's been like this management's kind of funny to me, but Spalletti's made it clear to the point where yesterday he started talking about Wes being an ideal striker. Like, he's made it as clear as possible to these guys. He wants a certain profile that we don't have. We'll see if they can bring somebody in or not. Storm the Barn. We're going to try and machine gun some of these. And then, guys, we're getting to a kit giveaway. All right? So we're going to get into this. And Wing of Winter. He's here every day. And he's not here today. It's collection day, baby. He's not here. Unbelievable. Are you feeling truly optimistic about the future of this team? If yes, when was the last time you felt this way, and why would this time be different?
Okay, I am feeling optimistic. It does look good. It looks good on the pitch. It looks good in the dressing room. It seems like the team is locked in. Last time I felt that, I think it was probably the year with maybe Di Maria. No, when we bought Vlahovic. When we bought Vlahovic and Zakaria, I felt like, we filled in the missing pieces. Dybala was still here, Morata. And obviously it wasn't, but that's the last time I felt like it.
It's been a long damn time, man.
It's so long.
Yeah.
Like,
Too
I can't
long.
remember.
4 years.
Major questions ever since Allegri left. Even though I wasn't against making a switch, Sarri wasn't it, and I wasn't really fucking too jazzed up on that. Pirlo was wild to me. It was like, oh my god, it's so crazy. It's like he hasn't coached anybody, and now it's like Juve is wild, but you love Pirlo, so you get into it, and you had Chiesa on the up there, and I don't know. It was weird. There was always questions, right? Ever since that move. And then you get Allegri back, and you're just like, holy smokes, have we gone like right backwards, and I wasn't really excited. It was question marks about the return, how the return's going to go. I don't know. This is the first time in, let's just say, a long time that I do feel optimistic about the future of the team, but it's barring the management. Is the management going to fall short? Or are they going to be able to, back Spalletti properly? We haven't backed any of these guys we've tried, properly. And if you want to talk about Giuntoli doing everything he can for Motta, apparently that wasn't even the fucking case, because Motta was bitching about guys that came in too. So it was like, are we just freewheeling at the management sector? I don't really know. But we got to put it together. It's the first time in a while I feel really good about the future. Champions League, it's a must to get in there. Yildiz, get this guy locked up. They're working on it, but I mean, TikTok, motherfuckers. Just get it done. Back this guy. Tell him this summer the cavalry's going to be coming, and then we'll go from there. Guys, we need to score 3 points again so Berto can give us another triple day. Somebody yesterday made a comment that I need to stop doing that because it's offensive to them, and show more sportsmanship. You're telling a Juve fan that has supported the club for 30 plus years, that has seen how much disrespect, how much mud thrown at this club at every chance they get, and you want me to stop doing the day? How do you think that one played out for that guy?
Cue the Mike Tomlin. I'm not going to apologize for anything.
I pity the fools.
I apologize for absolutely fucking nothing. Hey, I'll do it another 50 fucking times. I hate all of them 1,000%. My arm was beat fucking red yesterday from how many days I was dropping to Conte, McTominay, fucking all these Napoli fucks. By the way, don't get your haircuts this week because the barbers are all going to be pissed. Okay? Fair warning. Don't. Thoughts about Spalletti refusing to shake Matteo Fabri's hand after the game? You think it's about the Mercato or something completely different? No idea.
Non-issue.
I think Spalletti's just he's one of those individuals. I don't know. He's slapping fans. He's slapping players.
He's a madman. He's 3-0 yesterday. He's probably in the locker room mad about one little thing that happened in the 80th minute. Just sets him off.
Yeah.
Right?
Wait,
he's all over the place, man. He's all over the place.
He could be up
who is Fabri? I want to know who Fabri is.
I think he's just old, man. I think Spalletti is just old, and he's just I don't know, man. He's borderline losing it. You watch this guy on the sidelines, and his mannerisms, he's kicking players in the ass. He's slapping these fucking guys nonstop. He's signing shit for fans. He's slapping them. I'm like, who fucking is this guy? He's one of Juve's team manager, Fabri.
Oh, he's from Juve.
Yeah, he's from Juve.
What I saw him saying is tre punti.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I did like him midweek yelling at that fan after we scored. Just giving it back to that guy who was jeering them the whole time.
Was it Fabri? I saw a different name. I
It
thought it was one of the Napoli stuff.
Yeah.
At first, that was the rumor, but then afterwards, on the other angle, it's Fabri.
Yeah. Why do people get offended by absolutely everything in this modern world? A simple day. I'm a simple man. I like to dish out a day to the Chihuahuas. Okay?
I don't know. Lucas Terrible takes
Thank you,
offense.
George.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Can someone please explain the El-Nesyri situation to me? I'm confused. Did he change his mind once Sevilla showed interest? No, he actually opened himself up to Sevilla. Juve had a deadline of wrapping things up on the weekend, and El-Nesyri told him he wanted to think about it. Juve's like, fuck that. So El-Nesyri was planning on waiting till Monday or whatever to give them the decision. And now the papers are playing that Juve said, oh, we don't wait for anybody. We don't beg anyone, and walked away and the deal's dead. Hopefully that's what they did. But you still put yourself in a funny looking situation. The fact that you had yourself make this deal with Fenerbahce, you never had the yes from the player. Shocking stuff. Anyways, we made El-Nesyri his ego boost up a little bit, which is probably the most embarrassing part of it all.
He also didn't want like a loan move. He wanted like a permanent transfer. Was a rumor that was out there.
Yeah, his agent actually talked to Sevilla and offered him to Sevilla, and Chiellini shed some light on it, and I 100% agree with what he said, and I 100% think this should be Juve's mentality. You get one chance to come here, man. It's fucking Juventus. If you start, thinking about and looking at other options while you already have a deal with Juve, that's it. The ship has sailed. Especially a player like El-Nesyri. I wouldn't do that to like a very high-profile player. But if you're not sure about coming here, don't come here. That's as simple as it is.
Like, fuck, propping this guy up on anything is fucking wild.
He'd be lucky to play for Juve. He'd be lucky to play for Juve.
Berto, is it time to play your favorite Juve player, Kostic, instead of Kambiaso? I'm still at a no. Still at a no.
Yeah.
Substitution-wise. Alex P. saying Spalletti isn't happy with David. After the game, he still said he needs a striker, and all the West talk seems like he's pushing for the striker. It seems like he's pushing for the striker signing. I don't think that necessarily means he's unhappy with David. I think it's just, again, a set of traits that we don't have. It's an option he doesn't have. But I mean, I don't know. David's contributing just as much as anybody over the past 6 matches, so.
Speaking of, just to circle back, while I was checking the news real quick, there was an update on the Fabry situation for whoever asked that question. I guess Spalletti and him had a bust up on the touchline because Spalletti was losing his mind. He kept telling him to calm down. So after the game, when he's walking off, he went to greet him and he told him to stay calm and just stormed off.
Oh, jeez.
That sounds very like Spalletti, to be honest. That's like
keeps his staff in check as well. Not only the players.
Real Madrid beat Monaco 6-1. Juve can certainly get a victory away at France. Early thoughts on that game?
Yeah, they're not having a good season, Monaco. I think it's pretty bad for them, and Juve can, I believe, not easily, but they can win it without too much of a fuss. Yeah, mathematically, eighth place and above is still possible, depending on other results. So for me, you should definitely aim for it.
I feel confident in that game. I feel confident against anybody. I think the only problems that are going to creep up for Juve is that standard kryptonite of low blocks. So in Champions League, I don't expect it, and it should be a good game. A fun watch, and they want to play us in a straight up manner, which probably is the case in Champions League. Yeah, I feel good about our chances, and I think we'll hurt them. I'm expecting a victory. I'm expecting the 3 points there, and I'm expecting us to actually surpass Inter in Champions League on the table.
You think that he'll play all the starters against Monaco?
I think you're going to get your main men in there. What do we have?
Parma afterwards.
Midweek game this week, right?
Monaco needs a win to stay in that playoff spot for Champions League. They're gonna be playing it. Okay, this is gonna be an open game, and I think he's gonna go with his main men. If you see a change, it might be one but I honestly don't expect it. I think exactly what you saw against Napoli, you're going to see again. And then Parma, you'll get a little rotation. 2 players, maybe 3. That's my guess.
I mean, on paper, those are the 2 easiest games out of the run that we have coming up. Parma is more important to me. I mean, it's still realistic to finish in the top 8, but it's somewhat realistic. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we are through. So yeah, as far as I care, they can start the subs against Monaco and play the first team against Parma.
Yeah, no, for me, man, you make it up in training. You know what I say. You approach everything for the win, especially here. If you can get that top eight's actually massive. So just go for it. Just you never know what can happen. Football's fucking crazy, but yeah, don't ruin the form either by going a little too crazy and putting guys too heavy a rotation. You can have a couple players rotated in that game for Monaco, and I don't think you're gonna surrender much. But and Monaco's kind of battered too. Like if I'm correct, I think they're missing quite a few players. They're not in the best form. I think they're like, are they not like 11th in the table?
I think
in France?
they're 10th.
Yeah,
10th,
like
I
they're
believe.
somewhere like mid-table. Like no, I'm going for the win. I'm going for the win. We
Oh,
make
it's
it
a
up.
win.
Parma, we'll slap Parma too. Fuck them. Fuck them.
Hopefully.
It's hilarious how everyone, IFTV for example, are wanking over Allegri's style and Milan. While we played like that under him, we were heavily criticized and shit on by everyone. Yeah, it's funny how results and table standings and all that, just all of a sudden people don't care about how you're playing or how you're getting there.
It's also too like Juventus. Oh, when they brought Allegri back, they had won. What was this, 9 years with the trophy? Even though the Pirlo year was a down year, they won. They dominated for a whole decade, right? 9 Scudetti and then the Coppa Italia. You know, like it wasn't like they were like Milan, who's been in a banter era for a long time, right? I know they popped that one off of Pioli, but they took 3 steps backwards after he left. I think it's about context, right? Everything is about context. It's like your moment where you're at. If Spalletti inherited this team after Pirlo, I think he'd probably get more criticism, right? Because, you know, we're not on 5 years of finishing in the top 4 and playing average football, right? It's just, it's context. We've lost a lot of context in today's society. It's context.
Yeah,
Extend the
I wanna
contracts.
say- wait.
What?
I want to comment on Milan. I've watched their game last night. They were lucky not to lose that match. Roma was so much better, and Roma played on Thursday. Milan didn't. It's the same thing that was with Juve for Allegri. It doesn't seem sustainable. It just doesn't. You know they're gonna drop points. I'm not counting them right now to finish.
It's a grind. Everything's a fucking grind in that setup, in that style.
They were
whatever.
really lucky.
You get a couple
really lucky
injuries. Your players are fucking gassed all the time. Did you notice how many of our players are talking about the difference in how they feel physically in the new style of play, being on the ball more and actually like attacking? Must be fucking refreshing to not be like stuck to your gear after a game because you just sweated every fucking ounce of fluid in your body because you've been defending for 92 minutes. Yeah, I mean, defense is an important part of the match, but you got to balance it out. Like, that's the biggest thing with me and how we were going about that as far as sustainability is just the balance. You have to have the balance. You can't go to play Cremonese and plan on parking it against them. What the fuck is that? That's where you start losing me. I could see in the big matchups, if you think that the counter game is how you want to approach it, I get it. But you can't be walking up to every fucking team acting provinciale. It was ridiculous. Extend the contracts or sign the players as for this winter mercado. It could be both, my friend, because you could still line up the extensions and you can offset the beginning of them. Right? It's more so finding the terms, agreeing on everything, and then going from there. You can have both. Hypothetical. Colomwani is available. Take or leave. Lou.
Take.
Homer doesn't wait for his turn. Take.
But it's never going to happen.
No, but take or leave. It's a hypothetical, Lou. Colomwani is available.
I would take him. Of course I would take him. He was great. We should have let him go the first time, you know?
Hypothetical, you have Mateta or Colomwani in front of you. Hypothetical, they're both there. Who do you pick?
Colomwani.
Yeah, it's Kolo Mane.
Oh,
He knows how to be here. He played well here. He knows Juventus. It's an easier fix than someone who doesn't, right?
my guess is that he's now sitting in England looking at Juve and he's angry. He's angry with Paris Saint-Germain
I'd
because he should have
actually
been
take
part of this
Mateta.
team.
I'd actually take
I wouldn't.
Mateta.
Mateta's
He's
a solid
he's a
player.
profile that we just don't have. We just
Mateta
physically
would
don't
give us
have it. And Kolo Muani,
12, 13
he's kind of like this hybrid of everything. He's got some height. He can score some headers, but it's a different beast. So you're either looking for that profile or you're not. Like Kolo isn't the big target guy either. And I think I still say it, and I'll die on this hill until the day maybe we see it. You get Yildiz to play off of a big target motherfucker, and you will destroy. You will destroy if you get him playing off a proper target man. That's just
Is
me.
Erling Haaland available?
Oh, fuck. Wish. Would you rather have an epic comeback and final day Scudetto, or finish out a top four, go for a crazy run, and win Champions League? Holy fuck, man.
I feel like this question comes up a lot. Like if we would rather have a Scudetto, 10 Scudettos or one Champions League.
This is a
I take
win-win
the
for me,
Scudetto.
man. This is a win-win
Yeah.
for me. An epic comeback and final day Scudetto is amazing. Winning the Champions League and going on a crazy run,
Get
could
you in there next year, so
that
yeah,
could
it's kind of
spearhead the
insane.
next wave of Scudetti on the trot, since nobody's been able to do it since us. Fuck, give me that
it
Champions
gets
League,
you-
man. Give me that fucking
and it
Champions
gets you
League.
in Champions League. So
I want to see
at
the
least-
Champions League once in my lifetime. Come on.
Yeah, give me the Champions League. Give me the Champions League, and then let's go on the run for the Scudetti. But shit, that's a win-win, man. But the Champions League would be just insane, man. And I would love to have that over all the Chihuahuas before then running on the trot on Scudetti. Fucking give me that. Give me that. But I love Scudetti as well, and my God, winning domestically is amazing every time. The fact of the matter is, never take any trophy for granted. Okay? Got a simple joke today. One word. Napoli. There you go, Adam. The best joke you've ever hit.
I was about to say that. That's the best one.
It's the best joke he's ever hit.
Finally, not a dad joke from Adam.
You get the match ball for this one.
I
Not
have
really
a
fun.
question for everybody in the chat, and then we're going to give these kits away, okay? I've got a question, and it is, you can only keep one player at Juve right now, and it isn't Kenan Yildiz. Who do you pick? Who's the one player you will not say goodbye to by any means?
Thuram.
Bremer.
Thuram for you, Bremer for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, McKennie's getting some shouts. Thuram's getting shouts.
I just think about
Moretti getting a shout. Vlahovic. Thuram, Locatelli. Man.
where would Juventus find a player of Bremer's quality if they got rid of him? Center backs as a whole, there's not a ton of really great ones, especially if we're constrained by financial stuff. So we can't afford to lose someone of that caliber yet.
My pick, probably to nobody's surprise, is Locatelli, man. I have seen so many people, so many haters out there publicly on socials that were making videos ridiculing this guy, all this shit, wasting no time to jump on him. All flipping now. This guy is so underappreciated. And it'd be Loca for me, man. It'd be Loca.
The fact that there are 5-6 good answers is a really, really good sign.
It's a good sign, man. You got some shouts for Chico. You got the Bremer. You got Loca. You got Thuram. It's good. It's good stuff. We got to keep them all together. We got to keep things rolling. Guys, kits. I'm a man of my word. Okay? Wing of Winter, man. That's weird. This guy, he never misses a show. Always around.
He's always here.
Always. And like, I was so jazzed about it too that we got the third goal from Filip Kostic. You know it was meant to be, because it's great to see a long time supporter of the AJC like that, you know, have something work out and win. But nonetheless, he's won a kit. And I got something special for Wing of Winter. So when he watches this thing on playback, when he sees it, whenever, or until next time, reach out to us, buddy, because you got this. 120th anniversary kit. All right. Absolute fire. This bad boy's yours. Okay? And I've got it set aside for you. For all of our subscribers right here. Okay? Everybody that is tuning in on one of those other outlets, you have like barely any time to get to YouTube right this second. Hit that subscribe button because you got to be subscribed. And now we're going to ask a simple question. First one to hit it wins this bad boy. Throwback to the Libertad Digitale. And of course, it's got the man himself on the back. Absolute stunner of a kit. Okay? And Omar's got our one trivia question. We're going to give people just another minute just to get over here, okay? Hit that subscribe button, and then we're going to ask you one simple question. The absolute first one in the chat that gets it takes this bad boy home, okay? And this doesn't prevent us, by the way, from the kit giveaways we have in just over a week of the 2004-2005 home and then the 05-06. For our members that are in legend status, you're in for the Centenario del Primo Scudetto one, okay? Guys, you're locked in. Omer, hit him with the question.
Oh, let's see who's fastest on ChatGPT. What was Amaury's number at Juve?
Very simple one.
Yeah,
both Berto and Lou got it wrong.
We can't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
I did everything in my power to forget him.
No, this show loves bringing him.
Oh, we have a winner. Oh, man. Daniello Bucci. My guy.
Oh, the burner of Lucci.
Yeah. Daniel Lucci's burner of Daniello Bucci. Winning it. It's not actually his burner. Bucci is an absolute beauty. And he hammered it. And he takes home this kit. Brother, reach out. And I'm going to fire this one in the mail. And then don't worry, you guys. We got those other kits in just over a week's time. We're going to give those. And I've got more coming in for the next wave, okay? It's kind of like the new standard thing here where our members in legend status, they will have their own private giveaway. And they're still in for the subscriber giveaway. And we're going to do that monthly. That's just our way of saying thanks. Thanks for sharing in the difficult times over these past few years, being here with us, going through it all together. And now it's finally looking on the up. There's a lot of optimism. It seems like we could trust the process. Hey, the Army, you guys are the best, okay? And we love you. And that's why we show our love. Guys, we got to wrap up there. Beautiful victory session, okay? And hey, let's keep it rolling into midweek. We're going to bring you a live pregame. There might be a watch along. There might be a watch along for this one. I'm going to see what I can do, okay? Lou, always a damn pleasure. We got to do this more often, brother, okay? Omer, always a pleasure, buddy. Always a pleasure. And today, it was a little bit of a surprise. So no bald statements, but we'll still hit you with the sweet tunes. But next time, we are going to add the bald statements. Game prediction, early prediction for Monaco. Omer, hit me with an early prediction.
For Monaco. 3-0 again.
I'm going 2-0 Juve. Lou?
2-0.
There you go, everybody. There you go. You guys, drop a like. Everybody that's tuning in, get over, subscribe. At least if you miss this one, you get in for the next kit giveaways. Till next time, as always, fino alla fine, forza Juventus. And to whoever the hell wants me to stop doing the day, keep dreaming. Napoli, this one's for you. I'll even add one of these. Boom. See you later, bitch. Forza Juve, baby. Let's go.